Hello there. Just a few weeks ago in video EB25, I reviewed Radtel's fantastic RT950, a radio that I was seriously impressed with thanks to the sheer number of hardware features it packed in for just a staggering low price of around $86, which is about £65-ish. I think it's actually come down a bit since. However, the surprising catch was that it couldn't receive single sideband on HF. And even more surprising, it wouldn't transmit on CB frequencies. For those, you'd have to splash out a few extra dollars for the Pro model. Well, the good news is I've now got my pulse on the Pro, and in this video I'm going to compare the hardware of these two radios side by side. Now, I originally expected the hardware to be almost identical between the two, but my God, I was so wrong. Really, really wrong. But in a good way, as you'll see in a moment. Now, before you say, well, what about an RF performance test? Well, in truth, I did originally include an RF performance test in this video, and I covered power, harmonics, and sensitivity tests. But the video was just getting way too long, and I thought I'd bore you to death. So I put that in a separate video. So if you want to look at that, look at EB27 that I'll try and release at the same time as this one. Right, first things first, let's see what we get in the box, see if it's any different to the standard one. Well, the manual, as you'd expect. Not bad, these Radtel manuals. They get you going, but they do kind of assume you know what you're doing. So I just quickly scan through the pages, and you can freeze the screen and then look at it at your leisure. Screen icons. These are generic manuals. I think they're produced by Bintalk, who I think is manufacturing this radio, as I covered in my last review on the standard model. But Radtel they add a bit of professionalism to them, and they add any standards that they adhere to, etc. Oh, this is different. Okay, looks like we've got a different screen for the radio function, as I can see there, and some additional menu options. So that will be covering the SSB, which we've all been waiting for. Okay, the menu structure. I like the menu structure. At least you've got two-way arrow keys. You can navigate the icons. I've been really enjoying that on the standard version. Oh, and okay, we got a QR code for help videos. Well, there you are. You take a look at that. Hopefully there's some additional information on how to use this. All right, well, that's pretty much the manual. Okay, so you got the USB-C charging base, which is nice. Belt clip, lanyard, USB cable. Oh, spare screw for the mic cover. And power supply, which you'll probably throw away. And the antenna, what antenna did they give us? If you remember in the last video I did, they gave us an extra long antenna, and it wasn't any good on 70 centimeters because it resonated way below. Oh, it's the same one. Yeah, so it's got a bit of extra ding dong compared with most radios of this genre, but unfortunately the extra length seems to mean it resonates too low. Get rid of it and put a shorter one on. And there we have it. Okay, let's get rid of this box. Mrs. Electro Banana says, I've got too many boxes, too many radios. I don't know if you've got that problem. What to do? Right, so let's put it together and then we'll compare it side by side with the standard one. Okay, so from the front they look absolutely identical. Shout if you see anything different, but I can't. Nothing on the back. Nope. Top maybe. Okay, so there's nothing on the outside to indicate you've got the Pro. Maybe the Radtel label's a bit more shiny on the Pro. I'm going to get these mixed up. I know I am. Let's switch them both on, see what happens. Screen looks a bit dimmer on the Pro. Maybe it's in power saving mode. Oh, I can see kind of like a power saving icon up there. So maybe it's in low power mode, battery save mode or something. Yeah, maybe that's it. I'm going to have to put a label on it or I'm going to get it mixed up. All right, should do it. Right, guys. The one with the P on it's the Pro, all right? There, Bob's your uncle. Done. Right, now before I do anything, I want to make sure both of these radios are loaded with the latest version of software. I'm going to do a performance test later, and I just want to make sure that nobody says, oh, you're not using the right version of software. You're not using the latest. So let's get that sorted first. So just go into About. I love this menu system. I really, really do. I can't go back to anything else now. Okay, so software version on the standard it's 0.2 and on the Pro it's 0.16. You can see the hardware version is at version 1 for both of them. All right, I'm sure we've got later software than that. Let's go over to the website, Radtel's website, and have a quick shifty, see what's the latest. Guys, I just realized something. In the standard version, we got this lovely programming cable, USB programming cable. But with the Pro, we didn't get one. Radtel, what's going on? Did you get a cable with your Pro? Let me know in the comments. Right, so let's have a look at the latest version. So this RT950. So that's the standard version. So the latest firmware is version 25. All right, so we'll get that one. You see there? It looks like it's dated the 11th of September. And then for the Pro, version 0.18, dated the 19th of September. Right, let's get those downloaded. Right, I'm going to start with the standard version, got my programming cable in. In the manual it says hold down 3 and 4 when powering down, but it's not those keys on the front, it's the 3rd and 4th key on the side, okay? So just hold down 3 and 4, let's use a bit of definable keys, turn it on, it goes into update mode. All right, then we can go back to our PC. So these are the files you get when you unzip your downloadable file. If you get this message, just say run anyway. Okay, then you want to select the BTF file, which is the actual code, the executable code. So there it is, version 25. Now then you got to select your COM port. I checked from device manager, it's COM6. And then in the instructions it said select flashing mode rather than upgrade mode for some reason. All right, flashing mode engaged. Okay, expecting something to happen now, please. Okay, here we go. Handshake successful, model validation passed, download in progress. Sorry about the poor screen reproduction here. I don't know what happened to my screen grab. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so that went okay. And then I did the same thing for the Pro, but looking through the manual, the instruction manual for the upgrade for the Pro, things are a bit different. Now it says to use the upgrade mode. So look out for that. If you're doing the Pro, you may have to use upgrade instead of flashing. And also, you don't have to press the buttons on the side. As soon as you connect the cable and then execute this function to download the software, it puts it into update mode automatically, so you don't need to press any keys. Now, if you suffer from bricking anxiety, like you download new software to your device and then it bricks it, I'm really appreciative of Radtel providing instructions on how to get out of it. Basically, you take out the battery for 10 seconds, then hold down those third and fourth keys on the side whilst powering it up, and it kind of puts it into kind of an initial state, and then you use the flashing mode and try and download the software again. So thanks Radtel for that, really appreciate it. Okay, let's make sure the versions are taking effect. So this is the normal one. I can see we've got version 0.25, so that's good. Let's check the Pro. Should be 0.18 if I remember correctly. Go to About. Okay, 0.18. Excellent. We're all good. The first thing I want to know is that I mentioned it before, but the screen on the Pro definitely looks dimmer. I tried to disable all power saving related menu items. I don't know if you can see it. It doesn't really show up very well on the camera, to be honest. I think the camera kind of compensates for it. But it definitely looks a bit dimmer. So Radtel, if you could have a look at that, that'd be great. I mean, it's not a big thing. Mind you, I've not tried it in direct sunlight. It might make more of a difference when you're trying to use it outdoors. Yeah, you can't really see it in the camera. But to the naked eye, there's definitely a difference. You just have to take my word from it. If you got one of these, if you got the Pro and the standard one, let me know what you think. Can you see difference? Or is it just mine? Right, the next thing I'm going to do is put each of them in super mode. That extends the frequency range, if you remember from my last video. So I do that by holding down the 8 key and the PTT key as powering it up. So that's the standard one, and now the Pro. They are super mode. Then what we need to do to enable the single sideband and TX on CB, you need to hold down the down key at the same time as powering it up, and then it goes into this all band test mode. Right, let's see what happens if you try and do that on the standard one. See what happens. Yeah, nothing. Well, what did I expect? Okay, so I think we're now ready to go. Well, first of all, let's compare the radio interfaces between the two. There we are. Excuse the washing machine ambience. Mrs. Electro Bananas loves to put a wash on when I'm making a video. There you go. She's a boss. Right. And you notice that the user interface on the Pro looks very similar to the Radtel RT-950. I think they're both manufactured by Bintalk. Probably the same software people. Oh, a bit of chatter there on 467. Bit of Singapore PMR there. Okay, so let's see if we've got SSB enabled. Well, a nice S meter at the bottom there, I like that on the Pro. Into the menu. Okay, you can see we've got a few additional options on the Pro, like LNA. Let's go into modulation on both. Yes, LSB, USB, CW. Thank you so much. Shit. Let's go to FM. Look at work band, see what we've got. Okay, so you've got shortwave, medium wave, long, so that's the same on both. As expected, I suppose. Let's see what we've got in LNA. Okay, so you've got AGC, automatic gain control, and then various levels of attenuation. Looks like it goes down to minus 35 dB. Oh, that's good. Like a bit of control. Look, let's have a look at the radio user interface. You're supposed to use the star key to navigate between the various parameters of the radio interface, right? So you press the star key. Can you see it moves? It moved from step to LNA, but it bypassed bandwidth. Press it again, and it goes to frequency. Step it goes to step. You see it pressing the star key, and then it goes to LNA. It seems to bypass bandwidth. I think that's a bug. Radtel, please fix that. Sharpish. We need bandwidth on HF radio. Now, if you recall, when I did the standard RT950, you saw that the HF chip used was a BK1086, and it had a bit of a reduced frequency range compared with the normal SI4732. If you look at the shortwave band, you see here it goes up to 21.85 megahertz. So with the exception of FM broadcasts, all frequencies above 21.85 megahertz had to be dealt with the transceiver ICs. So if you have a look at the user interface on the standard one, you see it just goes up to 21.85, the same as that BK chip. So let's just check the range. So let's try putting in 27 megahertz. Keep Fred in the shed happy. Yeah, see, it rejects it. Fred in the shed will not be happy. Try 21.8. Yeah, lovely. Right, let's try this one. 27 megahertz. And it works. That tells me, I bet you a packet of biscuits. Yeah, a packet of biscuits that this has got an SI4732 in it, which is good news. And that makes sense because there's already software around to hack the 4732 to provide single sideband. I bet you. If I don't, I lose my favorite biscuits. And now the section where I get excited and manufacturers get nervous. The teardown. Right, so let's just have a look at the batteries. They're the same. Oh, sorry about the focus. They are the same. They're absolutely identical. All right, so we've got the standard on the left, the Pro on the right. They look the same to me. Shout if you see anything different. I can't hear you shouting, so I presume they're the same. It's only the label. The screws are missing in the standard one because I thought there's a good chance I'll take it apart to mod it. If you want to add a professional touch and repeatability to your projects, check out the sponsor of today's video, PCBWay. Now, I personally use PCBWay for PCB prototyping, 3D printing and CNC machining, and I've always been impressed by their quality, affordability and speed. They also provide PCB assembly services and specialize in advanced manufacturing, including flex, rigid and HDI boards. Now, if you're watching this video in September 2025 and you like the color purple, then you're in luck because PCBWay are offering PCBs with a purple solder mask at the same price as standard green all month long. For more information, visit PCBWay.com and I'll leave a link in the description below. If you want to know how I took it apart, have a look at the last video, EB026. Right, so here they are. On the left, the standard. On the right, the Pro. And first of all, what a difference. Bloody hell, I was so wrong. I thought they would be the same and they'd just be the software, but they're really different. SI4732, I keep my biscuits. There's a BK chip in the standard on the left. That explains the standard. I keep my biscuits. There you are. They're all mine. Right. So what else have we got? We've got a relay on the top right there in place of the GPS chip, but the Pro's got GPS, so the GPS must have been moved, right? This is, wow, what a surprise. I was so wrong. I'm humbled. That bit of insulation tape there is, again, because I thought that I might be taking this apart again. No need to connect GPS for the moment. You got the same active GPS antenna at the top there in the same location. Follow the antenna cable. Okay, so the GPS module must be on the other side of the board, just here. Same BT module for BT programming. This is different. The speaker and mic connector, which used to go for, I'll tell you, it's such a pain to connect it. It used to go straight to the main PCB. Now goes to the daughter PCB for the speaker and keyboard. And you've got a thicker ribbon cable, which goes to the main board. I like that. Easier for us to take apart for us modders. And I see that you've got some sort of built-in screen on the display cable. That's a nice touch. Very professional. Black too, my favorite color. I'm liking it so far, but I'm really surprised at the change. I really am. More components on the top side of the PCB there. Same chip there, which I believe is the 8 megabit flash. Is you got more discretes on the top? This is intriguing. I wonder what lies on the other side. One potentiometer on the top rather than two. Heat sink's a bit different. Got an op amp there, dual op amp. I saw that on the underside on the standard one. Let's see if we can get a bit closer. Yeah, this is the 8 megabit I2C interface flash chip. Yeah, same on both. I think there's been a bit of rearranging of the same components. Maybe it's not that radically different. And there's the IC that saved my biscuits. I love you. Thank you. And there's a dual op amp. Looking at the discretes around the 4732. Can't see any additional amplifier in there. Probably take a bit of a closer investigation. I'm not going to do that now. But just happy it's there and I've got my biscuits. I'm so excited. Okay, just one thing. I do know. A bit of a boo-boo, I think, by Radtel. Radtel, you need to check your QA there, whoever's manufacturing these. The GPS antenna doesn't appear to have its ground connected. Now, this is an active GPS antenna. It means it needs power. Let's disconnect it now. But you think that, I doubt that was working, you know. I don't see how it could. If you got one of these, check the GPS. I just hope this is a one-off. It was a Friday afternoon job. The guy wanted to go home and he forgot to solder that joint. Let's just hope it's an isolated case. But Radtel, do take note. Now, as usual, I need to desolder the signal cable or the signal connection of the antenna connector. We'll give it a bit of a wiggle. Oh, lovely. Look at that. First time. I'm still going to give it a bit of a wiggle though, make sure there's any like tiny solder bridges there still connected. I don't want to tear any tracks. Wiggle, wiggle. I see it's a bit loose anyway. I think we're good. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Already I can see another heat transfer pad at the top there. Does that mean we got another RF amplifier? Well, that is intriguing. I wonder what we're going to find. Okay, well, thank God they kept the same processor. That was just fantastic. Twice as fast as the 880, 4 times the amount of memory, if you remember. Op amp there. I think that circuitry is to do with APRS. Amplifiers before. There's the GPS module, the same as the standard version. Looks like the spare IC slot, unpopular IC, it's gone. Looks like we've got a voltage regulator there. There's the master and slave BK4829 transceiver chips. Oh, look at this. This is big at the top there. Can you see that? That looks like another RF amplifier stage. They already had 2. I suspected one for UHF and VHF. There's another one. Let's have a look at what that is. We've seen this before, guys. This is a 8-watt amplifier is used in the RT950. I wonder if that's just put in for CB frequencies. Okay, they've shown a table there for your standard amateur UHF and VHF, but it's not to say it can't be used at CB frequencies. And there you are, you see, it can be used from 1.8 to 10 megahertz, so perfectly good for CB frequencies. Yeah, looking at those inductors there, they look like they're for lower frequency circuits. I bet that is a dedicated CB frequency power amplifier. Fred in the shed will be wetting himself. He'll like that. And then a switching relay on the top, an RF switching relay like there is in the 880. Fantastic. Wow, so the Pro has even got an additional RF amplifier. How about that? So there's our 2 transceiver chips, and you see our UHF and VHF amplifiers as we reviewed in the RT920 standard version. An additional amplifier and CB amplifier. Wow. I'm super impressed. I really am. SI4732, dedicated CB amplifier, GPS, APRS, super powerful processor. This thing's got it all. For the price, I tell you, I'm really interested to look at the harmonics on this. You know, if they put together a dedicated CB amplifier, RF amplifier circuit, I bet it's pretty good. Now, reassembly, I just wanted to show you how I soldered in the screen side of the GPS cable for your reference, just in case yours is also disconnected. So on reflection, what a surprise. You know, I was so sure the Pro would be virtually identical to the standard version, but you know, I'm pleasantly surprised. They've kept all the good stuff, including that super capable processor, and added the excellent SI4732 for HF, plus what looks like to be a dedicated 27 megahertz RF amplifiers. Now that is a first. It's not something I've seen at this price point before. And I really can't wait to put the RF performance to test, which I'll be covering in the next video, EB026. Am I worried about the GPS cable not being soldered correctly? Well, not really. I guess this is just a one-off. So hopefully there aren't any other examples like that. I guess we'll see. And yes, there's still a few bugs, but I'm not too worried because Radtel have been very active with their software updates. Now, if you fancy one of these, Radtel have given me a discount code, so I'll put that in the description as usual. So thank you very much for watching. And if you found this teardown useful, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help me bring you more content like this. And don't miss video EB27, where I'll be testing the RF performance in detail. So until next time, take care, and 73.